Who's ready for another fun project? This one was so fun. This is a small sheet music cabinet. Vintage, antique, picked it up on one of my many picking trips. I'm going to go ahead and do some decoupage. So my first order was to put some white paint down. Now, this girl was going to be a bleeder, so I should have just put white primer down, but I didn't know that until it sat on there for a little bit, and suddenly the white started to turn pink, which is fine. So I am applying the decoupage paper with Dixie Belle's Clear Coat, which is my favorite set. So for the glue, I use Dixie Belle's Satin Clear Coat. It is by far the best decoupage medium I've ever used. So I just put a thin layer down, and I just start from the top and work my way down, use a brush to smooth out the decoupage paper. It allows me to not rip it if I use my hands. Then I'll just peel back and just keep coming down using my dry brush, meaning the brush that I was using a second ago, it's dry, it doesn't have any product on it. Here, this is just the decoupage medium as a satin clear coat, but the dry brush helps to smooth out those wrinkles. And guess what? I got paint in my brush. My paint wasn't all the way dry. So what happened with this piece is I ended up dragging paint across my decoupage. That's what I get for being so damn impatient. Story of my life. The corners weren't dry, and you see me trying to wipe it off right there. It's okay. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to end up pulling the paint again. I should have let this dry for like an hour instead of doing it within like 10 minutes, because what happened is in the corners, it wasn't dry. And I ended up pulling that white paint right across that decoupage paper. I didn't even notice it, because when I did the top coat over the top, I had pulled paint on my paintbrush. So I ended up having white streaks on this paper, and when it dried is when I noticed it. And I will show you later on in the video how I fixed that. So this door, basically I went over the seams. I'm just taking my blade and just going through and cutting it, and then just making sure that I get that decoupage medium underneath and gluing it down. It's pretty simple. You can do this when it's dry or when it's wet, whatever you want. When it's wet, your paper will tear, so just be careful. Just apply a little more. Now look at the bleed through. Crazy. That's red, orange. It looks like nicotine. It's not. It's the tannins in the wood. So Swiss shifted gears again. So I got some primer out. I am using Dixie Belle's Boss, which is a primer and a bonding agent, all built into one. I'm just going to go over the whole thing and put a coat of it, because if you don't, your paint will have a weird tinge to it. I'm going to use dark colors, but still, it's just better to err and just put the stinking primer down. So starting with a textured coat on the base of this beauty, and that is going to be done with salt wash and paint. So salt wash is a texture medium that I use all the time, and you add it to your paint, you mix it up to kind of like a brownie consistency, and then you put it on. Now I'm going to just stipple this on, just stipple it on and get it to just stick on there. Once the texture is dry, you need to give yourself some time. It will be hard as a rock. It's like amazing. It's hard, 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 hard stuff. This is a dark green. This color is actually called collard greens. So what I'm doing is just kind of going around the decoupage paper and just stippling it. And then I will do it on the sides and on the legs and just get our base coat of paint going on this girl. Then we're going to blend it out and make the paper look like it's just not sitting there in the middle. So I grabbed a bunch of colors. Do you see the rose at the bottom, the kind of purple? I'm pulling the color from the rose down onto the piece. So my goal is to try to make the paper appear to just not be this square in the middle, but that it's still leading down. So I will take similar colors and I will paint them and bring the paper to life, bring it out, bring it down little by little. So I have a little brush, and then I have a little bit of a bigger brush, and I'm just kind of filling in the same colors. So I've got some blue, I've got some of that magenta color, Underneath the flower, that's paint. That's not the tissue paper. It's just an illusion. It's like a soft cloud illusion. Same thing with the leaves. I will just kind of take different shades of green and fill them in, and then a little bit of blue, and next thing you know, the leaves appear to just be like softly flowing off the piece. You don't have to get the exact same colors, you guys. It doesn't matter. So I grabbed this rose and it was a little bit too pink. So I'm going to tone it down. I'm going to add another color to it, and I'm just going to keep layering it until I get the color that I desire. It's just kind of a trial and error. You only need little tiny dots of paint to do this. You're basically just fooling the eye and making it think that this is just like hand painted. I will also take the colors that I am using. So see, that pink was not the right pink. So what I did is I will take my brush and I will actually stroke within that flower, that pink. So guess what? Now it's tied together. Even though I don't have the right color pink, I just add it. And then it makes it look like I have the right color pink. So within those petals, I will brush yellow and I will brush pink, because then it appears, and I'm painting right over the top of the paper. So the paper has the top coat on it, so it's protected. So on the side of this butterfly over here, that's where the paint, the lighter color paint, the white was in my brush. And so when I went and put the top coat on, it kind of left a hazy look. So I'm just taking some black and filling it in and just making it appear that it should have been there. And it really looks spectacular. It looks more hand painted then. By adding color onto the tissue paper, it appears to be a hand-painted piece, which it's not. So even though I didn't need to put it on the left-hand side of the butterfly, I did it anyways so it would match. So it would appear that I have a hand-painted butterfly. These are just tricks, right? It was actually a happy mistake because I drug the paintbrush through and it kind of dulled down this butterfly. I just added some black back. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So don't stress if you mess up, because I totally messed up with this one. And I was so bummed, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just add some paint here and there, and you'll never tell, and you can't ever tell. When you see the end result at the end of this video, you'll totally see what I'm talking about. See there, same thing. Look at what I did. Oh my gosh, see all those white streaks? That's because my paint was on my brush and I didn't realize it, and I put that clear coat and drug it all the way through. So on this one, the yellow, I painted that rose petal on the right. That's not really on there. And then I just took the same yellow, since it wasn't the same yellow, and I just added it. So now the rose appears to match. I just highlighted some of the highlights that were there. This is how you can do this. And then when people look at it close, they think I hand painted it. I added to the other rose because they didn't have the right color yellow, but nobody knows. They don't know. Really, they don't know. Well, you know now. Don't tell anybody though. It's my secret. But isn't that cool? So just hand paint over them. And then next thing you know, all of a sudden, the piece just kind of, you can't tell where the tissue paper starts or stops, right? It looks like one big, huge, beautiful bloom that's just exploding off of this. It just looks amazing, and it's just coming to life and unfolding in front of your eyes. So all I do is take a little bit of paint, contrasting colors, and just let it fly. I hope you guys enjoyed this so much. I'll just let you watch the rest of this in peace, but I am just going to show you a little more of the filling in, little artist brush, just going in. Sorry for the hand. It's hard to film sometimes. And just making sure that all that primer is covered. And then making the illusion of that leaf is extending off where there was none. I just drew it in. And it's just not really drawing. I can't draw. I am telling you right now, this girl cannot draw. But I can fake it. And then I just added a little bit of that blue into that leaf. So now all of a sudden it looks like it belonged there. So you're not trying to change the element of what was there. You're just trying to enhance it so that it coordinates with what you're adding. It's just a real quick illusion. It's a really good illusion. Well, what'd you guys think? It's beautiful. It really came together. All the colors I added, the pinks, the yellows, it just made it so that it actually looked like it was there originally. Don't be afraid to fool them. Look at that. She's stunning. I did stain the top and finished her off, and she turned out so nicely. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you subscribe, and I will list my products down below in the description. Thanks, and go out and be fabulous.